What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Another evening of the Endgame Podcast. I'm 30 and Still Gaming, and you're joining me on Nerding with 30. How's it going? Hope everyone is doing well. We're going to lower that music right now. Appreciate you guys. Why? No. Stop. This music doesn't want to stop now. Got a mind of its own. There we go. Dear Lord. How's everyone doing? Professionalism at its finest. What's going on? Welcome to another week of the Endgame Podcast. On today's show, we going over a bunch. Well, I'm not going to tell you what was on today's show. What I'm going to tell you is what Endgame Podcast is. Endgame Podcast is basically we go over all comic book, Marvel entertainment news, if it's across video games, news articles, videos, movies, television, whatever it is, we talk about news in the Marvel comic DC universe. So that's what's happening on the Endgame Podcast. We do this every single week, 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday nights over here at Nerding with 30. Wednesday nights, we do the Disney Plus show for the Book of Boba Fett series, and then that's all that's on this show, this series right now, with other uploads coming in the future. Good evening. What's going on, Krebsy? What's going on, Stealth? How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's doing good. Yeah, that music wouldn't stop. I don't know what the deal was. All right, so we got a lot of stories to go to. Got a lot of stories to get to. So the first story up is James Gunn reveals he's involved in another DC TV project. This article comes from Collider. Another Suicide Squad spinoff, perhaps? ? James Gunn revealed he's involved with another TV project for DC after Peacemaker during an exclusive interview with Collider. Gunn confirmed that he'll keep working with DC. However, the director didn't reveal if the upcoming project is another spin-off of Suicide Squad. When asked if it was involved with another project for DC, Gunn tried to retain the mystery about the future productions. In Gunn's words, we're stepping forward, it's keeping it happening, and we'll see what happen. We'll see what's happening. We know what's happening very shortly. That's a lot of happenings in one sentence there. I dealt with it in last night and this morning. However, once asked directly if it's a secret project, would it be for TV or film, Gunn gave a direct reply, it's TV. There you go. While Gunn could be a producer of this new project, he usually prefers to handle writing and directing himself. So, and most likely a Gunn helm the TV DC project. Also considering some Gunn repeatedly said that it would be a love to explore other characters from the Suicide Squad, and this new project could well be another spinoff of the same type of format as Peacemaker. So, that's what we're doing. That's all we really need to read. The next question is for you guys. Do you think James Gunn is working, or what character he's working on? Do you think it's Deadshot? Do we think it's Harley Quinn? Do we think it's another series? Does Margot Robbie continue on with... I know she said she wanted to take a break from Harley Quinn, but do you think James Gunn gives her her own show? What do you guys think of this situation here? Do you think that Gunn... I mean, if it is a spinoff of another character, I don't think we're getting Polka Dot Man. You know what I mean? I know Peacemaker's got his own show, but... Oh, Bloodsport. That's who I meant. Not Deadshot. Bloodsport. Probably someone we've never heard. What's going on, Wolverine? Someone that we never heard of if it's a Suicide Squad member? I mean, I know they have CD-list characters like Peacemaker. Oh, what about if it's the other? I know you don't like it, Wolverine. What about if it's Ratcatcher? Ratcatcher 2, his daughter. That stupid, ugly ferret's gonna get his own show. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Can you imagine that, Stealth? I mean, Peacemaker comes out in what, 2 days? It comes out on the 13th. I'm gonna watch it. And does it come out per week, or is it come out the whole time, like one shot? Coming on HBO Max, right? Give us a backstory of Bloodsport and his relationship with his daughter. See, that's what I said Deadshot, but I meant Bloodsport. That's what I'm thinking, right? But Wolverine might be right. It might be some CD lister. But he also went to Peacemaker. Maybe they do Ratcatcher. I'm just trying to think of people from the Suicide Squad. Obviously, it could be anybody. It could be anybody from anything. But he did say that he wanted to do another character from Suicide Squad. Now, obviously, everyone in the movie died. Well, a lot of people died. He could do a prequel of up to that point. Another Batman villain with no Batman. I didn't get excited for all those new character projects in Marvel, and especially DC. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, it's like the Eternals, you know? Wolverine, it's like those type of films. You're just like, meh. I don't know. So, what do you guys think? James Gunn, what type of character do you think we get? Do we get a D-lister? We might get a D-lister. C-lister, maybe? All right, next story. Shang-Chi 2 star hopes for crazy Avenger crossover in sequel. Well, I could tell you why. Because him alone cannot make the movie successful. Nothing against the actor himself, but there's literally nobody knows who the hell Shang-Chi is, even after the movie. Nobody knows who Shang-Chi is, right? I know people are going to come in and they're going to be like, oh man, it's the best movie ever. And you're all delusional, which is fine. You can like what you like, right? But Shang-Chi will need other people in his movie to succeed. It would have to be like an Avengers type thing. It would have to be like a Guardians of the Galaxy type thing. It would have to be like a Multiverse of Madness type thing. What I mean by that is multiple characters in his movie to bring you to watch Shang-Chi 2, right? So let's look at this. Marvel Studios' second film of 2021, Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings, was a definite hit with fans and critics. Sure it was. Not to mention the box office. You barely made money. The movie ranked in a highly respectable amount of considering it dropped in the middle of a pandemic. Still a pandemic, not the middle of the pandemic. It's kind of still going on. Featuring the mostly Asian cast, sorry. Doesn't really matter about who's in the actual movie. Shang-Chi delivered memorable characters, worked a top-notch martial arts sequences. Memorable characters, I wouldn't say memorable, but we'll see about that. Based on the film's success, a sequel has been confirmed to be in development, with star Simu Liu set to return in the title role of Shang-Chi, or he'll also call in-universe Sean. Of course, Shang-Chi finds himself in a position of ancients of immensely powerful 10 rings, mysteriously artifacts, and serve equal well as protective tools of the dangerous weapons. How will he choose to harness his power, and will he participate in any superhero team-ups going forward? Liu has some ideas. Speaking to Complex, Shang-Chi, Simu Liu spoke on hopes to explore in the forthcoming sequel of his Marvel blockbuster, or the forthcoming sequel of Marvel blockbuster, including what Sean decides to do with all of his newfound power. Quote, I think just what Sean decides to do with all his newfound power, it's kind of a consumed his father, consumed Wenwu. I'm curious as someone much younger, much more inexperienced would fare against the rings. Well, I'm glad he used those words of much more inexperienced, because that was one of my biggest flaws of the film. The inexperience that he had and didn't do anything, and yet he was like Rey from like Star Wars. Okay, I'm glad he knew he had inexperience. Liu implied that the rings coming to Shun's grasp could become perilous for him or his friends, since just the idea of all of a sudden being gifted something that's so powerful but so dangerous is now in play. Now, the actor also talked about his other hopes for the second film, where Sean fits in with the rest of the MCU. Lou expresses interest, crazy team-ups, and crossovers involving Avengers and other MCU characters. He says, quote, and then with other big questions I have is, in what way does Sean fit in with the rest of the MCU? Who are you going to see? What kind of crazy team-ups? What kind of tie-ins, Easter eggs? I'm just as much of a dark as everyone else, so I don't know anything, but I'm excited to dive into the process. As fans recall, the mid-credit scene of Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings, saw Sorcerer Supreme Wong analyzing the Ten Rings, and Sean, his friend Kate, the Avengers Carol Danvers, and Bruce Banner looked on. With the knowledge of the brain power in one room, is still couldn't figure out exactly where the rings came from, ruling out the Kree. Also, course of Sean received the rings is his dying father, Winwu, who used for thousands of years and massed a criminal empire. During the movie's final battle, Sean managed to gain control of the mystical artifacts and use them to defeat the creature known as the Dweller of the Darkness, who also know is the store after that. One more. Lou also clearly wants to get more of the MCU star power in the second movie and the first one, including aforementioned cameos of Wong, Banner, and Danvers, not to mention Abomination. But also, who else could be added? Okay. So, here's the thing I look at. Marvel is trying to look at anything because, look, if these movies were so popular and just were the greatest of all time, okay, sort of like, Captain Marvel. Yes, Captain Marvel made 1.1 billion or 1.2 billion, but we all know without rehashing what we saw with our own eyes. Okay. So obviously the second Captain Marvel film is a team-up movie. Okay, is a team-up movie. Unlike the other past heroes that didn't really have a team-up movie, they had a standalone movie because themselves could handle holding on to the group and make a movie, right? But I think they see that Marvel needs help from other characters. You need interest from other heroes that are not known, okay, or known to help the unknown, okay? And this is why they're going to make a Shang-Chi 2 and bring in other heroes. What do you guys think? Do you guys think this is a smart move on their part of Marvel, or do you think it's a dumb move? Because technically, I still think they could do another movie, or make Shang-Chi. If you're going to do this, Disney, if you're going to do this, Marvel Studios, make a series of Shang-Chi to tell a little bit more about his backstory. Nobody cares about this character. Nobody cares. Okay? And all of a sudden, if you bring Shang-Chi into, well, let's be honest, Captain America's gone and Iron Man's gone. But if you put him next to somebody else, is he going to stand next to them, okay? Or is he just going to be a side character in his own movie yet again? The movie's called Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, yet Winwu was the main character, and you didn't know anything much about Shang-Chi, and you also didn't know much about the Ten Rings. So going more into depth of the Ten Rings, going more in depth of the actual character himself before he teams up and becomes a backseat character to his own film again. I personally think they shouldn't do a team-up movie, but I see why they're doing it, because the character himself is not, just like the comics, not a very popular character. Brain says, give us Animal Man. Drunk loser who talked you into a peyote trip, unlocks his powers and struggles to become in terms with not being a shitbag anymore. That sounds actually like a good character, Brain. I said this before, Eternals will be a Shang-Chi 2 Tale of the Rings. Tale of the Rings. Wolverine says, dead on arrival. What if they add more crappy heroes? Well, if he does a team-up stealth with... If Shang-Chi does a team-up with Miss Marvel, okay, with Miss Marvel, and like Valkyrie, and who else? I could give him Lady Thor, give him a Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and then put him. He would still be the bitch. He would still be the bitch in that film. He look, you like Kung Fu? Great. The character himself was bad. Right. Basically every minority character. That's right. Like, it's just... Look, I'm going to watch it because my wife wants to see it again, and she wants me to watch it, right? So I'll watch Shang-Chi again. I'm going to bite my tongue. I'll watch the first 2 acts, and then I'll get up for the third one. I'll get up and go to the bathroom and stay there for a while. Okay? Again, the first 2 acts were fine, but the reason they were fine is not because of Shang-Chi. The reason they were fine is because of Wenwu. Okay? You see what I'm saying? You know what might work? If they team up with the Defenders, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Daredevil, that might work out. Okay, let's just put that. He comes in and he teams up with Punisher. He's a sidekick. He teams up with Daredevil. He's a sidekick. He teams up with Luke Cage, sidekick. If he teams up with Iron Fist, maybe on the same plane, maybe a little bit ahead. Maybe. All these films are doing is attempting to check the boxes of inclusion. Agreed. Eternals was the worst offender of all this. Okay? This one wasn't really like check the boxes for inclusion. I mean, this was a character, right? And they brought it in because of the area they were in, so there's a lot more Asians into the world and the background of it. Eternals was literally checking boxes to check boxes. They're like, black, check. White, check. Hispanic, check. Deaf, check. Better than making the next movie a team up would be not making it at all. I mean, I agree. I don't think the character himself is very a action star. Give the rings to another hero. The rings are OP. I need a better hero. I mean, what about to give him to his sister, Krebsy? What about to give him to his sister? I know you're up for that. All right, we got our third story here. Real quick, guys, just a reminder. Even though this is Nerdy with 30, don't forget that for Generation X Gaming, if you guys like the news stories, if you go through the news stories and you see a topic, you don't have to read the actual article if you don't want to read the article, okay? But if you go through the actual submit stories and you see an article that you like or a title that you like, hit it up with an emote or something so I can get through what you guys want to hear more about on that show. I know Krebsy is doing a good job reminding people of whatnot, but please be involved with the community so we can make better content for you guys and talk about the stories you guys want to hear on that podcast. They're pushing him due to the fact that he's part of the future Avengers team, so they need to boost his numbers. Well, that's what they did with... Here's the worst part. This is where it shined, right? When Captain Marvel came in, they literally forced her onto you. Like, when we first saw the pager go off, we were like, oh man, who is that? And we were all trying to figure out, and some people were like, oh, it's Captain Marvel. And they did the Captain Marvel thing, right? But then they kind of like threw her in between the two Avenger films and then forced you on, like, here she is. And I feel like that's what they do for a lot of these characters now, right? They're just kind of pushing it on you. This was a character made based around the 70s. Bruce Lee now is just an Asian people can feel represented, even though China never screened it. Correct, right? Correct, Wolverine. I love how they made a film to air in China, and then China said, we don't want it. We don't want it. And because it didn't air there, it didn't make money. It lost money or barely made money. I think it literally made like $7 or $10 million. Bravo, they made money off a $200 million film, which $50,000 or $50 million credit, okay, incentive. So they made it was $150 million budget. But really, with a $50 million credit, it was $200 million film, okay? And they made $10 million. If that. Okay? 3 films, $600 million, and they made a profit of $10 million from 3 films. All right, next story. Marvel Eternals arrives on Disney Plus. Okay, here's how the streams the MCU movie online for free. Now there's a chance to subscribe to Disney Plus for free and stream Marvel Eternals from home. I'll tell you what, don't. You literally don't have to see this film. All you have to do is wait for the film to come out, wait for someone to pull the end credit scene, and then watch that on YouTube. Okay? Disney Plus is home to a ton of Marvel content, including popular shows like Hawkeye, WandaVision, and more. Joining the roster this month is Eternals, which first premiered in theaters back in November 2021, and the Assemble movie received mixed reviews from critics, but many Marvel fans who want a Watch Eternals online can finally find it available streaming on Disney Plus. The plot follows a group of immortals, begins as a fight to save humanity as well, while uncovering the truth about their true existence. The cast features some big names, including Angelina Jolie, Dina, Selma Hayek as Ajax, and amongst others. That's right. Because this word right here, when they're doing this, amongst others. Let me throw out 2 big names for you and tell you nothing about the other characters because really nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Okay. Interesting in watching Eternals, here's everything you need to know and how to stream it online. You'll be able to stream Eternals online starting January 12th. The runtime is about 2 hours and 36 minutes, including end credits. More on this later. Eternals features IMAX Enhanced Badge, which means you'll get a clear visuals when you stream, similar to the more cinematic experience. How to watch the Eternals online. Already on YouTube? Beautiful. Eternals is currently only available to watch on Disney Plus, which means you'll need to activate subscriptions to watch the Marvel movie online. A Disney Plus subscription costs just $7.99 a month and will give you access to watch the Eternals. Hold on 1 second. And streaming on Wednesday, January 12th. Okay. You'll be able to use the Disney Plus subscription to stream Eternals online as we gain access to a ton of other Marvel content like Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings, Loki, and more. See the full list here. Watch Eternals on your TV, tablet, phone, or laptop. You can even cast Eternals onto your screen using Apple TV, Roku, or other similar devices. Or if you're looking to expand your streaming platform, go to Disney Bundle Deal, which you get the access to Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus for just $13.99 a month. There you go. So, Eternals now on Disney Plus starting tomorrow. Okay, starting tomorrow. When did God, when's the last time I looked at this? When is Shang-Chi? Did Shang-Chi come out? Oh, it did. So the timeline as of right now, in timeline order, it's Avengers Endgame, then Loki, then What If, then WandaVision, then Falcon, then Shang-Chi, then Hawkeye. Eternals is going to go, I think, fit in right between Falcon. No? Is it going to be between Falcon and Shang-Chi? I guess we'll find out tomorrow. If Shang-Chi had an actual character development and better backstory besides Father Bad, then maybe the character would be liked. Agreed. The end credit scene already is on YouTube, I believe. 30 says, just watch the post-credit scene, but he forgets the post-credit scene all the time. Shows how important the scene is. Yeah, just you remember, because I just read about it, I remember now that it's, Captain Marvel and Bruce Banner. But before that article, I would have been like, what? Which one is that? It truly doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The end cutscenes in Eternals doesn't matter. Nothing matters in these other ones. Nothing matters. It's frustrating. Nothing really matters to me. No. Yeah. No, the Eternals one is Black Knight, and the other one is with Harry Styles. But I forget the guy's name. You're absolutely right. Thanos' brother. Doesn't matter. I got it wrong. Black Knight, and then Thanos' brother. Yeah, I don't know his name, though. I mean, I don't want to say it because I don't want to ruin it for people that want to actually watch the end cutscene. Guess it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. All right, next one. Next story. We got Marvel rumor teases Mark Ruffalo's future after She-Hulk. Here comes the bitch Hulk. With 2022 just beginning, it means another year for a truckload of Marvel Studio projects, while Book of Boba Fett has the stage now. It's sure to revert the Marvel soon enough, but that comes what comes next? Well, the Oscars Isaac's Moon Knight. We have She-Hulk, and we have Ms. Marvel. We'll get to that a little bit later, which is confirmed for a debut this year. Now, one of the fans' most anticipated bunch of new Jolly Green Giant introductions is Jennifer Walters' She-Hulk, which is an expansion of the Hulk lore, something fans have been waiting for years. Alongside Mark Ruffalo's original Avenger, last audience saw him, aside from his Shang-Chi cameo, is also recovering from the snap in Avengers Endgame and just sent Steve Rogers back in time. While his role as She-Hulk isn't fully known, thanks for the newly backed rumor, it seems that the fans might now know where the journey will end. Hulk takes a trip to space. Industry insider scoop, My Time to Shine, hello, revealed a significant event set to occur during the Marvel Studios' upcoming Disney Plus show, She-Hulk. Take this with a grain of salt, by the way. This is just rumored so far. In their tweet, they revealed that Hulk will leave Earth at the end of She-Hulk. Another insider, Casey Walsh, corroborated that the report, adding a father and son round trip to get to help. And the reference to the son is likely regarding Hulk's child, Sakaar, who previously been rumored to appear. His rumor was first reported by the mods, the Marvel Studios spoilers subreddit, and they said that the sources note that one of the show's cliffhangers would give Bruce flying off into spaceship. Now, with 3 different sources backing up this piece of information, it would seem that fans should prepare to see a green giant leave the Earth's atmosphere once again. Another round of space for Mark Ruffalo. The rumor certainly seems to make the reports Sakaar showing up more credible. It seems that Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner will have some parenting issues real soon. But why go to space? If it's father and son round trip, then would that imply Sakaar is already on Earth, and Bruce's goal isn't to find his son, but rather accomplish something with him? There's a good chance that he's going back to Sakaar, since where Bruce spent most of his time before Thor Ragnarok, maybe they're off to help Sakaar's mother. Okay. It's impossible to know for sure, but the rumor is true. It's all about confirms the Marvel may be able to do more Hulk-focused solo projects. Well, can't do solo projects, so we know that. We know that he cannot make a solo film. We know that he can be in a film with a buddy, team-up buddy film, okay? But he can't do a solo project, okay? So there you go. So, look, I like the Hulk. I would like to do more with Hulk. By the end of Marvel Avengers Endgame and whatnot, he's bitch Hulk. The moment that I had a tear in my eye, okay, little did I know it was a tear of failure and not the tear of joy. Okay, is the first Avengers where he says, I'm always angry, and he punches it and becomes the Hulk. And I was like, yes, we get the Hulk. And I was super happy and excited back then. Okay. That was 10 years ago. And now I have a tear, the same tear that came down my eye when I was running, super excited watching Hulk on the big screen. And then now we get this bitch Hulk the entire time. They couldn't do anything with him. Ragnarok kind of like made him shine a little bit more, but still it faded off real quick. So hopefully they can do more with Hulk in the future. Now, obviously, we'll see what happens after the She-Hulk. But again, I don't think, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with him. I hope this is true. Again, take this with a grain of salt. We don't know. But the three people, separate people, all confirm that this is what's going to happen. So we'll see what happens. This can make a lot of people said that cringe, but Megan Thee Stallion is rumored to show up in the MCU's project. I think Black Panther 2. Oh, Stealth said at least they're better than the Hawkeye in the credit scenes. Oh yeah, the Rogers, that's the worst. That's the worst end credit scene. Really hope they recast Hulk. As good as I am with ignoring celebs' real life, he broke that line. Can't do anything with him in it. I see what you're saying there, Reese. I can separate stuff like that personally. But I can see 100% why some people don't want to even look at him anymore. And maybe they are just getting rid of him, right? Maybe they are just getting rid of him. Who knows? There's a superhero named Megan Stallion. Some of her popular songs are Thought Shit, Savage, Feature of the WAP. Maestro incoming? Maybe. Yeah, Hulk was such a wasted potential character, man. It really bummed me out. Again, in 2012, when I first watched the first Avengers, I was like, man, I'm super excited he's back, right? So much potential, and then so much wasted potential. All right, next story. Marvel. This is from the Direct as well. Marvel brings back Daredevil and Punisher talent for Disney Plus spinoff. After her introduction in 2021's Hawkeye, Echo is now set to have her own story, even more fleshed out in Disney Plus series of her own. Okay, Cox deaf hero has last seen in the final moments of Hawkeye, holding a gun to her uncle Kingpin, played by Vincent. Okay, after she pulled the trigger off camera, audiences were left wondering if Daredevil's villain made it out of the conflict alive. Well, no one is 100% sure. But Jeremy Renner's starring series, many would agree that it would not make sense to have an introduction of a character in the MCU only to kill him off after one episode. That would be stupid. He's stupid. Okay. With Echo on the horizon and a couple of Marvel Netflix characters getting a second chance in the universe, it only seems fitting if some of the names behind the scenes get to jump back in as well. Marvel's Netflix writer brought onto Echo as a report of Illuminati. Marvel Studios is bringing back the writing talent that worked on the Marvel TV in the upcoming Echo Disney Plus series. Ken Christian and Darian Resnick will also will join the writing room on the project, who wrote The Punisher and the Daredevil respectively. The two will also join a lead writer, Mariana Dairy, Better Call Saul. So they seem like they have a pretty good cast of writers here. Okay. It looks like they have pretty good writers. This will mark the first time that they work on the MCU proper, having only worked on the Marvel Netflix projects previously. A couple of Marvel vets on Echo. Up to this point, there's been question whether they recently reintroduced Wilson Fisk and Matt Murdock could play as a part of upcoming Echo Disney Plus series, and now this is looking like they may be that case. Now, both Christian and Resnick have experience in the world with these Marvel Netflix characters, so it would make sense if they were to play part of Echo's story. Or at least it makes sense when Kingpin, a.k.a. Wilson Fisk, would show up in some capacity. Whether Charlie Cox, Matt Murdock, also as part of the streaming title, is still up in the debate, and Fisk feels like the perfect main antagonist for Echo. So it feels like a near guaranteed at this point. As for these other writers, it's interesting to see taking the lead of the series, having something to like Better Call Saul on her resume, could potentially point the kind of show Echo is ultimately going to be. Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul are highly intensely edged of your seat dramas, so maybe this is what Marvel Studios is aiming for here, a true crime thriller in the MCU. Something fans good taste of the Daredevil and Punisher as well, so the team feels like a perfect for the project the Marvel brass have envisioned. All right, so let's speculate here. Okay, let's speculate here. So Hawkeye was to pass the torch from Hawkeye to Kate Bishop and then introduce Echo. And then Echo is not going to be the main character in a show called Echo, just like Hawkeye wasn't the main Hawkeye in the Hawkeye series. Now, Echo is going to be there, and obviously it'll be her story, okay? But they're going to use, as we just talked about Shang-Chi, as we just talked about Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel, they're going to bring in a bunch of other talent, potentially, okay? And I agree with this. I think they do bring in Matt Murdock. I do believe instead of making a Daredevil standalone show, they bring in Daredevil in the Echo series, okay? And they bring in the Punisher, maybe, okay? And then they bring him in and then make that character, shove that character in front of you, saying, look, we know you love Daredevil. We know you love Punisher. We know you love Kingpin. But here's this character, Echo, that we're really trying to push on you, okay? Now, I have no problem with her. I do have a problem with the character as a lead character, okay? It's different when you have a blind guy. And let me put it this way. If Daredevil was a woman and she was blind, I wouldn't have any problem, okay? When someone's blind and not deaf, they don't have to sign, okay? And nothing against people that are deaf and they have to sign. But as a lead character, okay, we saw this in a little bit in the Book of Boba Fett. We saw this in a little bit of Mandalorian as well, where the Tusken Raiders are either, I don't know if they're deaf or if they're just sign language, right? But when you sign, it's very, very quiet and boring at that moment when you're seeing something on TV, right? Meaning that every scene that she's in, the person that's on TV with them is going to have to sign the entire time, okay? And speak. So it's like putting subtitles, but audio-wise, okay? You're going to see her sign. She is always going to be in a scene with someone. Or if the bad guy she's talking to only just happens to know sign language, right? Like everyone that she sees or meets is going to be knowing sign language. Kind of weird, wouldn't it be? I have a problem with them picking trash characters like her over the literally hundreds of other characters they could pull from comics. Agreed, Reese. This is why they're bringing in, again, speculatively, this is why they potentially could bring in Daredevil, right? Because if they just brought Echo and said, "Oh, it's an Echo show," and even Kingpin as the antagonist for the show, you would kind of be interested in it because you're interested in the Kingpin character and to see what happens. You're not really interested in the Echo character. Now, I'm not saying people aren't interested at all into the Echo character, but what I'm saying is the mass population that they're trying to pull are going to be like, who's this Echo character? Most people probably wouldn't watch it, just like most people didn't watch Hawkeye, just like most people aren't watching Boba Fett, okay? Like, Boba Fett's a well-known character, but yet it's not doing very well in the ratings on Disney Plus. So is Echo's character going to be like groundbreaking? Do you know what I mean? It just seems a little weird. They're trying to push these unknowns. The video games are doing it. The comic books are doing it. And now the television shows are doing it. And also the movies are doing it. It's a full court press on characters that didn't sell well at all, multiple times in comic book form. And they're doing a full court press on all the characters. Okay? All of them are all trying to get tossed in front of you. So you have to like it. But that's why they go for unknown. So they can change their stories to fit the narrative and they're trying to push. Exactly. Right? Even though we want a show of Daredevil that was on Netflix, now on Disney Plus, we're not going to get that. We're going to get an Echo show with Daredevil in it. We're going to get an Echo show with perhaps Punisher in it. See, A lot of people don't like when they hear stuff like this because they're like, oh, here's another white guy talking about how all these characters are coming in, right? Where the comic book sales literally bombed. They used to sell tens of thousands, okay, to hundreds of thousands of comics with characters that people liked. And now they're selling tens of thousands of comics, okay? Because they're pushing characters like Miss Marvel. They're pushing characters like Echo. They're pushing characters of Riri Williams, right? They're pushing characters that nobody cares about. Minority women with disabilities, that's a home run for progression. Right, exactly, right. They're doing so much, so brave, so stunning, so brave. Watch when the next Superman comes out and they try to push Superwoman or whatever they're calling her. The backlash is going to be, well, they're already talking about that. We talked about that last week, right, Brain? We talked about that last week about Supergirl and what they did to her, right? And what they did to her. They took a really good-looking girl and made her, like, unattractive. I mean, they did really, you know, move my expectations here. There you go. We might be getting Daredevil-ish. Here's actually a pretty good story that I actually kind of liked. Breaking news. Okay, breaking news. From MCU source, breaking, Sony has confirmed that Andrew Garfield will return as Spider-Man to make his third movie. This couldn't have gone better for Sony. Okay? Couldn't have gone better for Sony. Spider-Man No Way Home is at 1.5 mil, I believe, right now. If I'm not mistaken. I think it's at 1.5. Yeah, 1.53. Okay. Couldn't have gone better for them. Okay. Andrew Garfield shows up. Not only does Sony now have multiple avenues to pull from, not only can they have multiple Spider-Men going on, okay? Andrew Garfield, if they come out with this next movie, we're talking now you have Tom Holland, who can jump into the MCU and have an MCU connection with the Marvel brand, okay, with Kevin Feige's world, and then they can have a Spider-Man completely separate, okay? Completely separate from the other one and what they can do with, okay? So if they wanted to take him and put him against Tom Hardy's Venom, they can do that completely over there, right? They can completely change. If they wanted to bring Andrew Garfield, I'm sorry, Tobey Maguire back, they could 100% do that back as well, okay? They've opened up the possibilities of making 3 potential Spider-Man films, 4 if you count Miles Morales if they really wanted to, okay? Now they have all these films and all these different Spider-Men they can go in different directions with. They've completely opened up so much possibilities for the studio now. Confirmed. I haven't seen one place talk about this being confirmed. I don't know. This is what it says. Okay. Again, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I see it happening. Got a lot of buzz around Andrew Garfield's his part in the film. People want to see it. It's hot. Start spinning it up. Put it in there. He's pushing his own sexual orientation on the character. DC is already on damage control with the Flash movie leaks. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Brain says that's because Ezra is trash. They should have gone with a guy from the series or bring in some new guy. It'd be interesting if they brought in a different Flash in the film, and then he took over. I don't like the Flash. He's beta male. He's a beta male. Superheroes need to have alpha male, you know? And you can say what you want, what I'm saying, but a superhero needs to have some balls, man. Peter Parker is a character at least growing. Ezra Miller, or at least the character, is just is bad in the DC film right now. Oh, that's who you're talking about, Wolverine. You're talking about Ezra is pushing his own sexual orientation on the character. Is that who you're talking about? Not Andrew Garfield. You're talking about Ezra. You're talking about the Flash character. Toby and Andrew will return to the MCU in another movie. What movie? I don't know. Maybe Into the Spider-Verse 2? So the Hulk is an alpha male. You just called him a bitch Hulk. Well, no. Hulk, before the MCU got him, was an alpha male. And now he's a beta bitch. Right? And this is why a lot of people don't want to see Mark Ruffalo as the character anymore. Right? And I said, up to that point, when I first saw Mark Ruffalo as Hulk, I was excited to see him as Hulk. And little did I know that tear that came down my face from excitement was also the tear of sadness. Okay? I'm trying to read this next one because I don't really think this is a story that I need to read. I think they made him weaker so they could have a female or some alternative superhero outshine him in the power/strength. Could be. That's why they make him super weak right now. The MCU currently has a lot of beta bitches. That's right. All right. We're going to skip that one. Next story. From the Direct, Disney Plus just added 2 more Marvel Fox films. Disney Plus is not just the home of MCU movies and series. Disney Plus also includes a current Phase 4 lineup, starting with WandaVision and all of the Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings. Eternals will soon be added to the collection on January 12th. As part of the Disney Fox deal back in 2019, the streaming service added more films into the Marvel collection as well. Collective Disney Plus gave an official label, notating them as Marvel Legacy Movie Collection. This includes movies such as the original X-Men trilogy, several X-Men spin-offs, a Fantastic Four film that aren't part of Marvel Studios' MCU, and now, as the MCU gears up to immense ramifications from the multiverse storyline, a new update has emerged from Disney's Marvel Legacy lineup. Disney Plus adds more legacy movies. Disney Plus added 2 new Marvel Legacy films to January 22nd lineup: 2009's X-Men Origins Wolverine and 2005's Fantastic Four. Can I just say, X-Men Origins was a terrible. Even though I like Hugh Jackman, it was a bad film. It's a bad film. Fantastic Four is initially removed from the streaming Marvel lineup at the beginning of December of 2021, but has since returned to Disney Plus with the latest update. Okay. As a current lineup of Marvel Legacy movies collection of Disney Plus is as follows. You got X-Men First Class, X-Men 2000, X2 2003, X-Men The Last Stand 2006, Fantastic Four 2005, X-Men Origins Wolverine 2009, X-Men Days of Future Past 2014. We have Fantastic Four 2015. We have X-Men Apocalypse 2016 and X-Men Dark Phoenix 2019. A tease for the Multiverse of Madness is worth it pointing out that the different countries have unique lineups retrospective Marvel Legacy collections. For example, Disney Plus UK already has X-Men Origins Wolverine in the lineup for quite some time now, but users still don't have 2005's Fantastic Four. However, Disney Plus UK also has Fantastic Four Rise of Silver Surfer, but Disney Plus US doesn't have it yet. There could be a plethora of reasons why this could be in case. There's also logical reasons. The right issues are per country and must be considered. Meanwhile, it's reasonable to assume that the latest update could serve as a tease for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Doctor Strange sequel has been long rumored to feature cameos from the Fox Marvel movies, and this could be Marvel Studios' way of hyping up the fans for upcoming films. Spider-Man No Way Home is filed with references from previous Spider-Man films as Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and the same could be true with the past X-Men and Fantastic Four characters, with the potentially showing up in the Multiverse of Madness. What do you guys think? Do you guys think they're actually doing that? Do you think they're doing like a cross-promotion type of thing where they're leading up, seeing it, you know, some of the fans will catch on to it, other people won't even care until after they see Multiverse of Madness, then go back and watch some of the other stuff? In order for them to make strong female characters, the men must be made into bumbling bitches. Well, here's the thing. Not only do they make the men more feminine or weak, but they also make the women look more manly. Which is weird. Days of Future Past is the best X-Men movie. Changed my mind. Future Past, is that the... And I asked this. Is that the one... Is that the first or second movie with the new cast? With the new cast Wolverine? Because I don't think I've seen any of them, to be honest with you. Because I think they came out in the year that I had a baby and I couldn't go to the theaters. Yeah, 2014. I didn't see it. I have not seen X-Men Days of Future Past. I saw X-Men First Class. That's the one I saw. I never saw X-Men Days of Future Past. I never saw X-Men Apocalypse. And I never saw X-Men Dark Phoenix. I haven't seen any of those films. It's the closest films ever to get to the 90s animated series. That is easily top 3 alongside Logan. I didn't see Logan either. I have yet to see Logan. Because Logan came out... Logan came out at a time where I couldn't go to films and stuff. 2017, yeah. So I haven't seen that either. So you're saying I should watch Days of Future Past, and you're saying I should watch Logan. Dark Phoenix is a goat. Why do I feel like you're I hear nothing but bad things about that film, Reese. Best part of Apocalypse was Psylocke. Wasn't it played by what's her name from Attack of the Show? Olivia Munn. Didn't she play Psylocke? Archangel used to be one of my favorite characters, and all I heard was they did him wrong in Apocalypse. Best part of Apocalypse was Quicksilver scene. Maybe I'll watch them. I got time in Carline. Maybe I'll watch it. Yeah, Olivia Munn. Yeah. All right, next story. From the Direct. Miss Marvel undergoing heavy reshoots. Is Disney Plus show in trouble? Let's read, and then I'll give you my thoughts. After an overall decade of exclusive male hero projects, Marvel Studios' female solo movie, Captain Marvel, proved to be a hit in 2019, as it shot past the $1 billion mark in the box office, moving into Phase 4. Diversity, in terms of race, gender, and religion, has been increasingly important to the MCU, as upwards to 8 movies in the series are led by female heroes, including Miss Marvel. Starting newcomer actress, Miss Marvel will seek a Pakistani-American Captain Marvel fangirl, Kamala Khan, become a hero of her own in the 6-episode Disney Plus series. The solo outing will finally premiere in summer of 2022 before Miss Marvel returns alongside Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau in the Marvels in February 2023. Having initially started production in November of 2020, the Disney Plus series wrapped production in May of 2021 after taking production to Atlanta, New Jersey, and Thailand. But with Ms. Marvel finally being right around the corner, some news has surfaced suggesting that troubles with the project. I'll give you my thoughts in a second. In a recent tweet from Atlanta Filming, the source revealed that Ms. Marvel will hold reshoots in Georgia's capital. Twitter user Ms. Marvel News subsequently posted a correction to the info confirming that the reshoots have not yet begun, but will be in 1 or 2 weeks. Okay. Is Ms. Marvel in trouble? Ms. Marvel stirred up viral controversy amongst fans last year as it was revealed stretching out the shape-shifting powers will be replaced by glowing Green Lantern-inspired constructs. Despite the backlash to this, it's almost certainly too late to change her live-action powers, with both the Disney Plus series and the Marvels having wrapped principal photography. Having concluded the filming in May of 2021, Ms. Marvel will now have spent a significant period of post-production, which primarily involves around visual effects, sound work, and editing. Perhaps as more complete cut of the series begins to come together, producers may have opted to change certain story beats that doesn't work as well as intended. But since the Disney Plus series will lead into the upcoming role of Captain Marvel's sequel, The Marvels, it would be tough for the studio to make any substantial alterations to the character, power set, or endpoint. With the reshoots just now getting underway, significant work to come seamlessly reinforce rumors that Ms. Marvel will air after both Moon Knight and She-Hulk, with the premium currently set for summer of 2022, possible late as September. While the reshoots may stream trouble for some of the typical occurred within almost anything major production, even with the series is currently suffering from significant issues, Marvel Studios and production team still having several months to fix any issues and still make in 10 premiere window. Kamala Khan was quickly grown into and becoming an iconic Marvel hero since her recent first appearance in 2013. That's absurd. That's absurd. Quickly grown to become an iconic Marvel hero. That's not true. That's not true. If you go by sales numbers, that's not true at all. Okay? Given significant a Pakistani American hero holds in terms of representation and diversity, it's important that Marvel Studios ensures that her Disney Plus series lives up to expectations no matter how long that may take. Now, here's the thing. When you have major reshoots happening, and I heard, it didn't say in this article, but another article said it was taking up to 6 weeks, working 6 weeks, 6 days a week. Okay? That's crazy. That's literally the full length of production it would take to do a series like they did. Okay? This is interesting. This is interesting. I wonder, okay? Because this was supposed to air ahead of time. Like, this was supposed to air already. This was supposed to be out. This finished in 2020, November of 2020. They stopped principal photography. I'm pretty sure, right? Is that what it said? Yeah, I'm sorry. They finished in May of 2021. Okay? It was supposed to air this year. Or end of last year. Okay? It was supposed to be out in the late last year. Okay? Then it got pushed back, and then it got pushed back again. Now they're doing reshoots after they pushed back. Okay? There's something funky going on here, and I wonder, hear me out here. Black Widow came out in July. Shang-Chi came out in October, and then Eternals came out. Checkbox, checkbox, checkbox on all of these movies. All of these movies. Okay? The money, even though Captain Marvel made its $1.2 billion, whatever it was, something is not going on, or something is going on. Sorry. Something is going on. After those movies came out, they're like, hold up. Hold up. The fan base is pushing back. Okay? Something's going on behind the scenes where they made the change and they postponed showing the show, and now they're doing reshoots. So we do know that the writer of the show is a SJW, okay, and she has agendas that she was trying to push. Okay. Now I wonder if they're going back, and again, I'm just speculating here. I have no proof of this, just going based on what it was. 6 weeks of 6 days a week. Okay, that's a lot of filming going on. That's basically the principal photography. So are they doing reshoots or are they doing the complete fucking do-over? That's what I want to know. That's what I would like to know. Are they doing reshoots? Because they can call them reshoots. They're not going to tell you they're redoing the thing. Reshoots are reshoots. I've worked on a film before where we literally filmed the whole film. They aired it. They showed it to the producers. Okay? They hated it. Okay? They got more money, and we came back and did the whole fucking reshoot of the film. Okay? It happens. It happens. Okay? So, something's going on here. This was done in May. They wrote it. They filmed it. Everything was done. Then they saw Black Widow. They saw the numbers of Black Widow. Checkbox, checkbox, checkbox. Shang-Chi came out. They showed the checkbox, 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 checkbox. Eternals came out. Checkbox, checkbox, checkbox. None of those films made movie. Shang-Chi barely made money. Okay? And yet, they look at Spider-Man. No agenda. Right? Has nothing to do with male characters or female characters. Had no agenda. Showed you a film, and it was fun. Okay? And now, all of a sudden, after that, they said, we have to change it up. We have to change it up. You looked at what all the Disney Plus shows were like, and they made a change somewhere. So, now, the powers. Why would they change the powers so much? You're trying to push a character on us to like her, and yet now you're trying to base her off another character from another IP, as far as like she's got a bracelet on now and she's got like Green Lantern powers instead of being using the polymorphic, you know, where she stretches and stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, the stretching and stuff is just like Mr. Fantastic, right? Reed Richards. So it's a little weird that she has the same type of powers, and you know what I mean? I don't know. Let me go to chat real fast. Miss Marvel, as Wolverine would say, dead on arrival. Changing her powers. What's going on, Alien? Changing her powers to the extent is such a dumb choice. Agreed. If your world is Twitter, that might be true. Big time. Dead on arrival, Wolverine says. Stealth says, do you think they choose to do the TV, this show because of the Marvel Avengers video game? I believe that Marvel is working with Marvel. Marvel's Marvel. I believe that the reason Miss Marvel's in the video game is because it was to push, just like they're making a show. They want you to like this character. They want you to like this character. 6 weeks because they hired nobody, and she probably isn't cutting it. Well, they haven't said that they've done any changes to the actress. Okay? And I don't know about that, Stealth. They went through a long process to find the character. So, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm not going to hold it against this actress, especially being so young. Okay? Was she like 14? 13, 14? Okay? The girl herself has no agenda. Like, the actress has no agenda, has no, is not trying to make a statement. She's literally becoming an actress. This is her first gig. First gig, right? So I don't look at her and say, you know, it's on her. I think if the show comes out and her acting is good, I'll call it. I'll call it if I see it. If she's a good actress, I'll call it. If it's a bad actress, it'll be part of the problem. If she's a good actress, but yet the show is bad, that's bad writing. You know what I mean? The actor can act out bad writing, and they can do a really good job with the bad writing, but you can tell what bad writing is. So we'll see what happens with her. Again, first ever acting gig. And I don't think I would think that they pulled the right person for the job, you would hope. But we'll see. Let's hope they're removing the agenda pushing, SJW woke stuff. We'll see. If they change her powers that drastically, they really didn't need to give very detailed, well thought out reason for the fans. True. And they also, going back what Stealth is saying about the video game, if they change her abilities so much and she has completely different abilities in a video game, that would be a little weird too, wouldn't it? That'd be a little weird as well. I'm reminded of Chappelle as Windu/Jackson. Yes, they should die and hope they burn in hell. Company says lineup for the rumored June-July release date. There's no way. If Moon Knight comes out in February and that's 6 weeks, that's February, mid-March, unless it's mid-February, then it brings us up to April. And then you bring in She-Hulk April or May, and that goes to mid-June to July. We're talking July, August, September. I'm pretty sure there's going to get in eventually, but only after the series would have aired. But if they wanted to go woke, being stretchy would have been perfect. It gives them the opportunity to make her shine brighter than Mr. Fantastic. True. They want you to relate to the Pakistani girl regardless of who you are. All right, well, here's a perfect example, right? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I'm not talking about the new Bel-Air drama they're making on CW, okay? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air back in the day was a black sitcom. I'm a white guy, but yet I watched a black sitcom, just like I watched Martin and The Cosby Show and everything else. I don't have to see myself physically into the character because Will Smith is black. I don't relate to him. Right? I relate to the character because of what happened to him in the series. Moving from a place, right? Moving from West Philadelphia, right? I moved from Long Island, okay, to a brand new area, right? I had that in common with him. Going into a new school, meeting new people, right? You can relate to those type of things. You can relate to the person. It doesn't matter what skin color they are or what gender or race they are. You see yourself in a character regardless if it's a Pakistani girl or not. Now, right? Now, what they're doing is different than what old shows used to do in the past, okay? You related to the characters in those shows because, one, it's fucking good writing, okay? Two, you relate to the character because of what the situations they were put in, not because of their skin color, not because of their race, not because of their gender. You know what I mean? So it would be kind of weird that they want you to relate to a Pakistani girl and some Pakistani girl somewhere is like waiting for a Pakistani superhero. I don't want to say that's not happening. Of course, people would like to see themselves inside a character like a 1-to-1 scale, right? Even when you make your character for video games, some people make a 1-to-1 scale of yourself and other people make a far different character who they feel like inside. Okay, who they want to look like. So, not to say there's not a young Pakistani girl. It's like, oh man, someone that finally looks like me, and it's a superhero. But to change a character's powers, they're trying to promote this character, and yet they don't even know what her powers are. Okay, they don't even know what her powers are. They don't know what her anything is. They keep changing her from comic books, reboots, to video games, to now a television character. Man, I miss those shows and the memories they bring back. The shows back in the day gave you an actual lesson. There's a lesson to be. Yeah, there's lessons now, but they're completely different, right? Like certain shows that were big time, no one related to the characters because the way they looked. They related to the characters because of their stories and what they were going through. I'm gonna make a video of the Bel-Air series coming to the Peacock. We're not gonna watch it, okay? I'm not watching it because I don't have Peacock One. But what the are they doing? Will Smith is a producer, but what are you doing? The reason Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was such a good show is because of what it was. Now they're making it into a drama like 90210 or something. When the primary priority is to highlight someone because of their race, gender, or religion, it's a recipe for disaster. That's what's separate from Martin or Fresh Prince. Exactly. 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 Here's a question. We actually talked about this a little bit on the last thing. The direct says, is the Green Goblin's formula stronger than the MCU's super soldier serum? It almost looks like it is, and in the movie, the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire and Willem Dafoe, he does say, I don't know if they put it in here, if they actually say, but you would assume that it is a spin-off of the super soldier serum, is it not? And then maxed on top of that with Osborn's scientists. It doesn't say in here. Final fight against Peter and Lady Liberty's shield, where Norman is clearly slipping. Sure, his reaction is fine. There's also how he rolls out the wave Spider-Man attacks. Gobby quickly becomes sloppier as the fight progresses, but at the end of it, beatdown, Goblin is exhausted, a far cry from what it was able to endure previously, and yet still not a sign of bloodshed. Therefore, they theorize that Goblin's formula puts Norman about on level with Cap in terms of how many hits he can take. But Osborn's creation still comes on the top due to the skincare effects to prevent unwanted blood loss. Whatever Norman Osborn put in the formula, it's clearly doing wonders for him. Cap's super soldier serum provides some neat perks, but Goblin's formula cranks up the enhancements up to 11 on the scale. Not only does Osborn seem physically stronger, it clearly a lot tougher than Steve Rogers when they failed Goblin cured cursing through his veins. Ultimately, the Goblin formula is a stronger recipe here. The real question is which one to take, considering the Goblin's formula comes at the cost of developing a psychopathic, uncontrollable split personality at the end. It endangers literally everyone in one's path. The super soldier serum is probably still the better option. Oh, they're talking about like which one has more side effects. I mean, obviously, the super soldier serum seems like a more stable formula compared to the Green Goblin. Original ideas. Here's the door. I mean, I would take the super soldier serum over the Green Goblin serum. Who wants a voice talking to him in the head? You got Steve Rogers went from beta male to alpha, taking his serum. William Dafoe took the serum, went from super scientist to psychopath, right? I don't even know if the super soldier serum exists in Tobey's universe. They did say that the Avengers don't exist. This is a rabbit hole we could jump down for hours. True. But he also said that Osborn doesn't exist in his universe yet, right? There could be Osborns in the universe, but just not where it's not the Osborns that we know that own big corporations or whatnot, right? So, obviously, this is pretty funny, okay? It says, all 4 MCU films released in 2021 have been submitted for the Oscars. Now, obviously, I can see them winning for special effects. I can see them winning for, the CGI, special effects, music, be in those categories and whatnot. Acting, I don't see anyone being acting. I don't see anyone. Maybe nominations, but not winning. Okay. Spider-Man No Way Home. Was there someone in there? Maybe William Dafoe. But he had such a small part. I'm trying to think. He had such a small part dialogue-wise. Yeah, one of these things is not like the other. Eternals, I can't think of any actor like actually winning. I can't think of it. Obviously, special effects, soundtrack, stuff like that. Marissa Tomei, I could see that for Spider-Man. She's definitely going to be nominated, right? She's definitely going to be nominated for supporting actress. Will she win? Doubt it. They'll win for things like wardrobe or special effects, stuff like that. But they're not going to win for any of the major categories. You're not going to get film of the year or anything like that. You got to remember, not a lot of films came out in 2021. Not a lot of films came out. So we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens because in the next month or so we're gonna find out the nominations. So next story. Hashtag save Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. trends as fans call on Marvel to bring back the characters. In an attempt to get the Marvel to bring back the characters in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., back fans flood social media with hashtag save Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This comes from Screen Rant. Over a year after S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. came to an end, fans in the show are rallying around social media to attempt to bring back characters into the MCU well before the Marvel-produced Disney Plus shows like WandaVision and Loki. The first tried to move to television with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The ABC series premiered in 2013 and followed fans' favorite S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Phil Coulson. Mysteriously resurrected from his Avengers' death and as a new team has embarked on the Stranger's missions. All right, let me skip this. Though Marvel Studios might not have much interest in reviving the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right now, there are numerous fans who do. On Wednesday, the hashtag Save Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was trending on Twitter as fans flooded the sites with calls of Marvel to bring back the characters in some way. It is part of concentrated efforts to get the topic trending. Another event is planned on Thursday, January 6th. Check out some of the fans' tweets down below. One of the fans says, "Look, I don't care about what other people think of the show. It's one of the best CB shows, in my opinion. Literally, every season just got better. It's already connected to the MCU overall. Literally, an easiest show to connect to the movies." Another person says, "Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. were very good series and does not deserve to be forgotten." Another person says, "Wow, number 8 trending. Well done, everyone. Keep going. These characters deserve a pop-up again in the MCU as much as everyone else. Save Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D." I'm joining in the worldwide Save Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. thing today. Not because it needs to come back, though. A Disney Plus special would be dope, basically, okay? But because the actors crafted incredibly characters who deserve the same chance to pop up in the MCU multiverse as others getting right now. So, a bunch of different people talking about it. The trending efforts appear to be partially inspired by recent MCU appearances made by Daredevil characters in the Netflix show, has also been similar to positions of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. In what they beloved show, they technically being part of the MCU has been largely ignored by the broader universe. However, both Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox, and Wilson Kingpin Fisk have made appearances in both MCU projects lately, thus paving the way of Daredevil to properly become canon. Now, fans that want the same of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., even if the series came into the end in 2020, the fans were expressing hope that the characters like Daisy Johnson and Melinda May would turn up again in the MCU. When asked about the rumors saying that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. could cast return to the MCU back in February 2021, Marvel boss Kevin Feige played coy about the possibilities. If Marvel really did want to bring back someone like Daisy or Coulson, there are several places where it could fit. In fact, with the multiverse now becoming a major part of the MCU, there could be an explanation in the place of the plot holes that might emerge from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. becoming fully canon. Right now, the Marvel isn't committing to one way or the other, but clearly the fans want to see it happen. I watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think 5 seasons. I think I watched it up until 2017 or 2018, I think we watched. I liked the show. I thought it was a good show. It was entertaining. Always kept me on, made me come back. I liked it. I liked the little crossovers and whatnot. What's going on, Prince? If you bring it back, They will need to retcon a lot. True. Well, would they have to retcon a lot, or would it be just them in a different universe coming over? Type of thing. Right? Just have Clint's wife be the first Mockingbird while Bobby is the second Mockingbird. True. You could do that. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. could have been the easiest way to introduce alien races and other pieces without having to make a whole movie about them and side characters like the Kree. So there you go. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Look, there was a show out that I was pissed off that got deleted. It got canceled. It was called Vegas. Right? It was like a dramedy, whatever. It was a drama back in the day, and I loved it. It was on for like 4 or 5 seasons, but then it got canceled because of moving different networks, and then they said they were going to come back, but then it never got its day of light. It never had the finale in that show, which kind of made me upset. Right? If shows can end and they end well, then I have no problem with them ending. Like a How I Met Your Mother type of thing. It's like it ran its course, it's done. Big Bang Theory ran its course, it's done. You know, all the big shows, Dawson's Creek, Gossip Girl, all those things, they ran their course. I believe the show ran its course, right? Would it be cool if they brought it back? Maybe if they did a one and done, like maybe a 2-hour movie of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and then kind of like sum it up, show them up in this world or whatever. Could be potential. And then let the audience just in their brains go, oh, you know what? It's in this universe. It's in this timeline type of thing. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. What do you guys think? Do you guys want to see Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. come back? Let me see here. All right. Next story. Iron Man villain child rumored to appear in Disney Plus spin-off series. Okay, since Marvel Studios kickstarted its ever-growing MCU in 2008 with Iron Man's Robert Downey Jr., Avengers have been a staple of the superhero world, having appeared in 3 popular solo movies, 4 Avenger blockbusters, and 3 other entries. It's undoubtedly the turning point of the MCU when Tony Stark met his demise in Endgame. But even with the Marvel's first hero gone, the legacy remains ever important, so it will continue to do so. This will come through the Spider-Man's movies as well as the upcoming Armor Wars and Ironheart Disney Plus series, which I feel is another series dead on arrival, but we'll see. Dominic Thornton, young genius hero Riri Williams, will make her MCU debut in Black Panther Wakanda Forever before going on to lead her own Disney Plus solo outing, likely in 2023, as Ironheart prepares to don her own suit of armor. Tony Stark's technology will undoubtedly be critical to her upcoming series. Given their connections, it makes sense that even when Stark's gone, some Iron Man-related characters could pop up in Ironheart's series. And recent rumor, they have revealed one of the characters, Iron Man villain child, rumored for Ironheart. Now, the Illuminati exclusively reported a son of daughter of Jeff Bridges, Iron Man villain, Stain, a.k.a. Ironmonger, will appear in the upcoming Ironheart Disney Plus series. Now, the report goes to claim that the character will be in their 40s, brilliant and comedic. Now, who is Ironheart's latest addition? With the Marvel Comics, Stain has one child, Ezekiel. Stain, who also becomes an enemy of Iron Man, has sought out revenge of his father's death. Unlike his father, who donned the variation of Tony Stark's iconic armor, Ezekiel used Stark's technology from Black Market to augment himself with cybernetics and biotech. As a fan of Riri Williams' MCU debut later this year, it remains unclear that the connections she may have with Tony Stark, if any at all, with Iron Man no longer around. Ezekiel's story may require some changes to fit the Marvel world as it goes after Ironheart instead, assuming the rumored character will even be an adaptation of him. Alternatively, Tony Stark has mentored Riri Williams with within the comic version, with Robert Downey Jr. hero having already met his demise, his older child will fit the role in some way. Since Ironheart is a story that will heavily revolve around the legacy of Stark as the Iron Man franchise lives on through her, it seems only fitting for the child and his first and most highly regarded MCU villain to be evolved too. Here's the thing. I have a problem with this. I have a problem, and I know nothing, and this might come across as being just completely, naive or whatever. Okay, I know nothing of Ironheart. Okay, I know nothing of Ironheart. I know nothing about Riri Williams. I know nothing of Ironheart. Okay, but taking characters and taking storylines that were in Iron Man and then wrapping it around her as a character, to me, is just stupid. It's just stupid. I don't care if this was Riri Williams or if this was Bobby whoever. Okay? Doesn't matter if it's a boy or girl. You're introducing a character that has no connection with Robert or Tony Stark himself. We never saw anybody. Okay? We never were introduced to anybody. So all of a sudden, this person that was a fan of, let's look at Kate. Kate was a fan of Hawkeye. Okay? Wanted to become Hawkeye. And then Riri Williams might have been a fan of Tony Stark, and now she wants to become Tony Stark, but now all of a sudden she gets Tony Stark's villains. And then the stories that, to me, this is DOA. I can tell you something about Riri Williams. She's the version of Miles Morales that failed fast as fuck. Yeah? I know nothing of her. I don't hate the character. I don't know anything about the character. Okay? But just from what I read, that they're taking bits and pieces, potentially, taking bits and pieces from a story that should have been Iron Man's story, and then fitting it for her is just, you're like detached from what it is. You know what I mean? She's a copycat character made in 2016. She stole Iron Man's armor, reverse engineered it, and everyone loved her for it, for all like 12 issues of the comic she had. When you say everyone loved her for it, like, are you saying like the fans that read the comics like loved it? And if it was loved, then why was it only run for 12 issues? Prince says no one loved her for it. Like, and I'm speaking outside. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Content seriously. This is the reason why we. Okay, so this is coming from Marvel Database. Now, obviously, I don't know where they get their database from or whatnot, but it says right here, Ironheart top 10 in sales. SJW Marvel is now going to come up with some more SJW Ironheart content. Seriously, this is sold. This is the solid reason why we shouldn't support or buy current Marvel lineups, because we do. We will get more trash like Ironheart, Unstoppable Wasp, etc. Let me see. Is there an actual sales? So why is Marvel not canceling their lowest selling comics? This is posted back in 2018. Marvel Comics is a company that's all about the bottom line, with the chair like promo. Not making money is out the door. He's famous. He's famous for his marvelous caution, cutting comics, cutting lines, cutting staffers, keeping Marvel profitable. Up with Marvel Comic Book doesn't just have to make money. Pretty much every comic book does. But if it makes enough money, more money than a replacement title might. This means that the sales of the X book or Avengers title are judged more harshly than others, and this could theoretically be bringing respective fan base along with them. So watching the sales charts isn't just an exercise of navel gazing for Marvel comic readers. It's a way of uncertain in the favor of titles has a future. And more recently, for some, it's the way to judge if a comic book that isn't socially or politically acceptable to some in heading to the scraphead, accompanied by victory shouts if it does. Okay, but now how do some comics survive and others don't? Let's take a look at the depths of December charts in the comics and have made it one of the only being canceled from March citations. Okay, first, ignore the estimate sales figures. They're only estimates. One of that's ignored. Non-North American sales can make up to 5 to 20% of sales, depending on the title. Okay. In recent chart has some worrying drops, like Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man number 298 had number 58, which strikes as a disappointing figure. As it debuted at the top, it was one of the best-selling comics for the year issue at 1 at number 63, almost exactly the same sales, around 3 out of 10 of Batman. Invincible Iron Man 595 probably should be doing better than with the media profile, hardly in danger of getting canceled. The book receives criticism from some quarters to the promises of giving the Ironheart, a black woman teenager who took the lead, a lower sales have blamed on this. But at number 65, which also almost exactly the same sales, is Daredevil 596, which is also should be doing better with the media profile. Ditto with Punisher 219 and number 71. There are some people who rail against what see as diverse comics, usually those central female characters, usually not the boob and butt brigade, possibly more cartoony for Silence of Life storylines, as they are some kind of personal. Okay, Miss Marvel, a figurehead for that, is worth pointing out. Her sales, written by J. Willow Wilson, have strong non-comic store market at number 67, and Miss Marvel number 25 has also benefited for strong digital sales or strong sales. Yeah, but you're not telling us the sales numbers. I need to know sales numbers. You could be number 1 and sold 2 comics when everyone else sold nothing. All right, let's look. When did she come out? Did she come out in January of 2016? Okay, so let's look at this. We have some numbers here, right? Number 1, Walking Dead sold estimated units 156,000 units. Secret Wars 149,000. Let me go all the way to the bottom here. Well, let me go back up, because I did see Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel is at 59, sold 32,000 comics estimated. Okay, 32,000, and that's in January. Okay, let me look to see if there's an Ironheart here. Go to alphabetical order here. I don't see an Ironheart here. Let's go back. let me Ironheart release date. January 1st of 2017. All right, well, what was the first issue called? Generation Iron Man and Ironheart. Generation. Now, obviously, it's with Iron Man. I still don't see it. It's still not here. So it's not even on the list. It's not on the list of how many here. This is the top 388 comics. Okay? Meaning it's sold less than 2,000. The first issue. Less than 2,000, is that accurate? Ironheart 40,000 on January? Where are you looking though? November of 2018. I'm looking at the very first issue that came out in January. January of 2017. That's what that says. Generation Iron Man and Ironheart, #1, release date. Oh, September 6th, 17 comic, January 1st of 2007. Yeah, it's January of 17. All right, so I'll go to September. All right, so let's look it up. You have Generation Zero. That's not it. I don't see it on this list either. Like, I don't understand. He got banned for 10 days in Marvel Avengers? Why? Why did he get banned? Because he made a video to show people how to do it? I don't see any sales numbers for any of the Ironhearts. Okay. Let me look up one other character, right? I'm gonna look up Miss Marvel if there was another Miss Marvel comic book here. Yeah, Miss Marvel, she's here. She's at 27,000. Not great. Not great. Ironheart, it published Marvel Comics, a cover price. Okay, last issue was May of 2020 or June of 2020. So let me go back, right? Let's go back to 2020. Okay, and then all of a sudden it just stops here. Okay, so May of 2020. They don't even have, there's, what's happening to the comic book industry here? There's nothing here. I'm trying to find one freaking. There's an Iron Man. Sold 54,000. But I don't see an Ironheart. I don't see Ironheart anywhere on this list in the top 400. Okay. November of 2018. Great. Okay, let's go there. Let's see. Ironheart. Hey, there we go. 40,000. So now let's go on the list of from top to bottom, and let's see where it fits in here. So it sits at 45. It sits at 45. Okay. And then you go month by month. Okay. You go month by month and then see what the drop off is. Okay. Why does this say, what's it called? Where was it? Why does this say that it was January 1st of 2017? Is that a team up with Generations because of Iron Man and her? But her standalone comic? So it was November. And then you don't see it again. So does it not come out? Invincible Iron Man's here. Oh, God, that only sold 900. Man, look at these numbers. The comic book industry is just garbage. Holy Christ. Just garbage. Could have been her first appearance in Iron Man comic. True. Heroes in Chaos. This is no, Heroes in Crisis. No. 40,000. Just to put it in perspective. 40,000. If you look at let me go to the 90s. Let me just pick a random. I'll go to I don't know, June of 1997. Do you see the difference in comic book sales? Right? 243, a quarter of a million. A quarter of a million. Okay. Quarter of a million people. Okay. To get in the 40s, you're like top 100. All right, let me go back farther. Let me go to the 80s here. They don't tell you the prices back then. Nope. They don't tell you the prices and stuff back then. Yeah, here we go. Batman, 633,000 comic books sold. Right? Top 10, you had to get at least 150,000 comics sold. 150,000. Right? 40's getting you in the top 90. Top 90. Okay? The comic book industry is hurting big time. Okay? And obviously, it's easier to make a comic book than it is to make a TV series or a movie. So Marvel just dabbles in making comics real fast, right? Why won't it let me... It wouldn't let me up. Copycat. Okay. No one cared about Riri Williams in the comics animations besides one quick episode, and they spent her like a bullet train, confused on why we were getting a story relating to Iron Man. Yeah, I don't understand the character itself, right? Keep Iron Man dead, and don't give us a Descendant. If you keep bringing back Iron Man back, his sacrifice gets devalued more and more. Robert Downey Jr. did an 11 out of 10 job, and Tony shouldn't be replaced. Unless the Tony daughter, I'm okay with that. Agreed. Why Disney doesn't feed into the fans, and if they need a female lead in the Psylocke, Jubilee, Emma Frost, Rogue, any of those ridiculous, powerful, and already have established fan base. Exactly. Show people how to exploit. Surprised it didn't happen sooner. You won't believe the drop. What's the drop? Check January 2019. January 2019. Is this issue 2? Is that what this is? Is this issue 2? Holy Christ. Went from 40,000 first to 17,000 second issue. Holy Christ. That is devastation. That is terrible. That is terrible. You lost more than 50%. More than 50% drop. That's like a 62% drop. Don't check my math. It says 17,507. That's crazy. But that shows you, right? So she went from top 40th overall, right? That's where it was. 40th overall. Down to 123. Whew. Look, and there's plenty of other characters here that you look at that fail, right? Like Batman's here and Batman Beyond, and you have different Batman things, and yes, they only sold 16,000. But they know if they make a Batman, overall Batman's going to sell, right? Like if I scroll back up here, Batman Who Laughs sold 116,000. So Batman over here is 90,000. Batman here is 83,000. There's 3 Batman comics in the top 10. Okay, in the top 10. Okay? Cuz people like the character. Okay? Nobody likes the character, and yet they're like, well, we got stories to tell. We can't come up with the real original stories. So we're going to take other stories from other heroes, from other comics, and we're going to use their stories for her. Okay? We're going to use other people's stories for this character, and we're going to push her on you. Okay? It's terrible. And it's terrible when they do stuff like that. And then when people don't buy it, they want to call you names. And I don't care about the names personally. Okay? Oh my God. Ironheart 14,000. And then the next month, only 736 people bought Ironheart 2. 736 people bought issue 2 the following month. Issue 4, 12,000. And you can see less and less people. Okay, so issue 4, okay, this is in March, right? So I want to see what the last. So March, April, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we'll go here. October. See, this obviously the average person, and I didn't know anything about her. Ironheart issue 11, 9,000. Just it went from 40,000 issue 1 to 9,000. Okay, now you can see the character is not liked. Okay, you can see the character is not liked. I mean, that's terrible. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like, look, I'm sure if they made Riri Williams into a character that wasn't copying another character, make a traditional story, make a original story, okay? Stop taking a character and picking back off someone else to push an agenda or push something, okay? You see what I'm saying? There's something not right here of what they're trying to push onto you. They're like, we want you to like this character, and then when the character's not liked, then you're the problem, right? You're the problem. Here's another character, right? Here's yet another character. Check the box. Check the box. First look at American Chavez, the toy. Okay. Okay, they're bringing her in. Now, I've watched an animated series with my son, and America Chavez was in it. She was too cool. She was rough and tough. I read an article which was pretty funny. They said that she's the first Hispanic superhero, right? And then other people said, well, no. Ajax was Hispanic, and she was in Eternals, right? She's before American Chavez. And then someone said, well, no. Selma Hayek's character is an alien. Well, I hate to break it to you. So is American Chavez. She's literally an alien from a separate universe that broke through and left from here. You see what I'm saying? Right? Like, she's an alien. Just like Clark Kent is an alien from another planet. Okay? And I don't remember anyone ever saying that Superman was the first white superhero. I don't think that's ever brought up. Okay? Because obviously there's other superheroes before him. But I posted a new article. Might spike your interest to create a decent conversation in Marvel News. Oh, you talking about the are you talking about the movie thing what Ben Affleck said? Are we covering the cut content she's part of and how it affected the MCU? I didn't even look at that stuff. We can look at that, Krebsy. Is that underneath the spoiler stuff? Here's a quick question. You guys want to see Sylvester Stallone on playing a Batman or a Punisher? Punisher I can see, but isn't the Punisher just Judge Dredd if he played him? You know what I mean? Could you see Sylvester Stallone playing the Punisher? Yo, Adrian, get my gun. 40,000 down to 9,000. That is lead material. That is a person that I want leading a series. Where the combined total of all her comics combined doesn't equal one of the lead characters. I can see Stallone, see him as the power broker. Oh, that'd be interesting. All right, so here's another story. A-Force. The Marvel's rumored cameo can deliver a better A-Force than Endgame. Captain Marvel 2, rumored point of Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie appearing, which could help a sequel deliver a better A-Force than Avengers Endgame. Tessa Thompson, Valkyrie, is rumored to appear in the Marvels, which could help the movie deliver a better A-Force moment than the Avengers Endgame. Can we just admit that that scene was so forced? So forced. Okay. It was Avengers Endgame. It was interacted with many other prominent female heroes in Marvel Cinematic Universe. The scene proved to be a bit decisive due to the seamlessly forced nature. But Captain Marvel 2 can give the audience a better A-Force team-up. The cast of the Marvels is confirmed to resolve around the multiple female heroes while keeping Carol Danvers in the lead role. This includes Monica Rambeau, returning after WandaVision, made her superhero Kamala Khan, is set to appear in Ms. Marvel, airs on Disney+, and there's also how evidence is to suggest that Valkyrie is a Captain Marvel 2, as well as Tessa Thompson headshot to feature alongside those of those cast members in behind-the-scenes pictures. The King of Asgard is confirmed to appear in the next Thor: Love and Thunder, but she might also be a female fronted MCU sequel. Now, if Valkyrie appears in Captain Marvel 2, it could be a chance for Marvel to give viewers a better A-Force moment than Avengers Endgame was capable of including. Valkyrie and Captain Marvel are already somewhat familiar with each other, and thanks to Avengers Endgame, some of them working together is natural evolution in the MCU. Since the Marvels also includes Monica Rambeau and Ms. Marvel, Valkyrie and Carol could likely work with both of them. How exactly it come together is up to the sequel story to explain, but it should be able to unite them without it feeling rushed. Still forced. Right? I mean, this scene, and again, I have no problem. I have no problem with female heroes in any way, shape, or form. But this was literally like Spider-Man got knocked down, hands her the glove. How are you going to get it over there? I forget what the actual quote is. Right? How are you going to get it there? We'll help her. And they all, da, 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 da. And they like fly in. Right? They like fly in and they do this pose, right? And then they move on. I was just like it literally pulled me out of the moment. Okay? I was like, oh, for God's sakes. After Carol Danvers flies through the ship and destroys it all by herself, right? Like, completely destroyed the entire Thanos ship by herself. She doesn't need any of these people's help. She's a badass. Pick one. Is she Superman? Right? Is she like the super strongest person in the universe? Or does she need help from everybody else? Right? Like, what is Pepper Potts going to do in a suit? What's Siri going to do? Or Shuri going to do? And what's Mantis going to do? Right? Come on. Wanda, sure. They didn't need to help her. In the heat of the battle, with metal clashing everywhere, they all heard the statement and could react. Yeah, because you didn't know they all had superhero power hearing. Could be because you're a woman and never bothered you. Maybe. But all I'm saying, Alien, is that in the middle of the scene, the way they just all of a sudden, he's like, how are you going to get it to the van? Right? Right after she just blew through a ship, right? She just plowed through a ship. And I'm like, wow, man, she's powerful, right? I didn't hate her for it. I was like, God damn, she's strong. right? She lands and goes, I'll take it. We'll help her. And they all come in. I was like, oh, hold up. I love that scene because it was like, what the hell are you guys doing right now? You should have done this before the battle started with the army. 100%. The moment they did it was the bad part. They could have done it ahead of time. Right? They could have led up to the thing saying, okay, how are we going to get to there? We'll blow a hole open for her. Right? And then they start doing it. Not when he handed her the glove and how are you going to get there? Like, it was completely like tossed in there and you're like, what the hell? It sticks out like a sore thumb. To me, it was like a screeching halt of the edit. I was like, why would they do that? Like, you could even feel the energy in this in the stadium completely just like taken out. Thank God we got the Captain America bam with the hammer with Mjolnir. You know what I mean? They plan to all meet at the spot before the battles. Right. All right, guys. Anytime, which they didn't know Captain Marvel was going to be there. First off, they didn't even know she was coming. They didn't even know she was coming. But they did see her blow up the ship, and they're like, we're getting behind her. She's a badass. Watch it again, Alien, and let me know what you think, because it was a little cringe. I'm in for this. Netflix and Marvel Daredevil showrunners want to make a superhero movie or a Superman movie. I'm cool with that. I think not only is Daredevil, the TV series, one of the best Marvel content created. Okay. First season, some of the best superhero content I've ever seen. I loved it. I was like, this shit's good. Okay. I'll take that. I'll take these guys on the showrunners for a Superman movie or show or whatever. Okay. I'm in for that. I don't need to talk about John Cena. We don't need to talk about that. Gemma Chan confirms that the Eternals character will return to the MCU, obviously, if you've seen the film. I mean, we have to save her from the big guy. So, obviously, I'm not going to read into it because I'll probably go into big spoilers or whatnot. But, obviously, of course she's going to come back. Did Captain Marvel show up? Did she even know? Oh, why did Captain Marvel show up? Did she even know? Yes. Yes, they made a call to her, but she was off planet, and she just happened to get there in time. Right? Yes. It was she had a call in the beginning that she had to step away from, right? And then she came back through. I fell asleep in Eternals. Yeah, it wasn't exciting. Let's put it that way. All right, let me open up this open up this Ben Affleck article here. Ben Affleck says movie theaters will only be for Marvel and other big franchises in the future. Okay, well, let's see what he says. The pandemic hasn't been kind to the box office exceptions to Spider-Man No Way Home. Most other movies released have seen below average numbers, with the highest grossing flicks typically being based on corporate-owned intellectual properties. In a new chat between Ben Affleck and Matt Damon that surfaced online courtesy of EW, Entertainment Weekly, those of you that don't know, the former says that the box office will soon largely be reserved for Marvel movies and other studios that happen to be sitting on a well-known IP. I will say, when The Way Back came out, I was released in the weekly, and they closed the theaters for the pandemic. But even before then, I knew the movie about grief and the child dying and recovery is just not going to get adults in the seats. Affleck told his longtime collaborator, we were just talking about Narcos Mexico, Succession, Mayor of Easttown, and these amazing things being done on streamers. Okay, if you're just some formulaic TV, like when we were kids and could only watch it like my dad on an 11-inch black and white TV. The former Batman star went on to say even movies like Oscar-winning Argo likely wouldn't be able to cut the box office in these days, instead suggesting that likely would have to been turned into a limited series used on streaming. If I had to bet, like a drama like Argo would only not be made theatrically now. It wasn't that long ago. It would also be a limited series. I think movies in theaters are going to become more expensive. Event-sized actors added. They're mostly going to be for younger people and mostly about, hey, I'm so into this Marvel universe, I can't wait to see the next, what happens next. And you'll be like 40 movies a year theatrically, probably all IP sequels and animated. While Affleck admitted he took him a while to throw in the towel, his latest project sealed the deal. Ridley Scott, The Last Duel, grossed just $30.6 million in domestic box office. The Last Duel really clinched it for me. I've had a bad movies that didn't work and it didn't blink. I know why people didn't go, because they weren't good, he concluded. But I liked what we did. It's like what we said, had to say. I'm really proud of it. So I was really confused to see that it didn't do well as streaming. And I thought, well, there you go. There was the audience. Okay. January 2022 is less than 2 weeks away, and it means that your favorite streaming service are getting ready to. Is this the same? Oh, this is the same stuff. So that's the end of the article there. I mean, the conversation. Do I see movies saying what he says as far as just Marvel films or comic book films or well-known IPs? I don't know. As far as do I think, well, movies, I do think movie theaters will survive. I do think there'll be a time that we go back to theaters. I think there is something there, though, is what they're saying, as far as movies won't be as successful anymore. And I think if you look at it that way, I think movies right now are in like a financial, like the economy going down as far as like the housing market or anything sort of like that, right? And what I mean by that is that over the years we were growing like this, right? And exponentially getting higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. Where the first $1 billion film was like 1996, 1997. Okay. Okay. Titanic was the first $1 billion film. The first $1 billion worldwide. Okay. Oh, no. Gone with the Wind, first released in 1939, generally considered to be the most successful film, with Guinness Book World Records in 2014 estimating adjusted global gross at $3.4 billion. Right? But that's Gone with the Wind. When the movie actually first made $1 billion, we had like one film in all of history make $1 billion. Okay? Not until like up until 2015, there was like four or five films, I think it was, that were $1 billion movies. Okay. And then after 2000, I think it was 2010, we have a ridiculous amount of billion-dollar films. Okay. So look at this list here. Okay, we have 49 movies. We have 49 flicks. Okay. So let's look at the first one. Okay. 1997, Titanic made $1 billion. Okay. Obviously, it's made more since then. Lifetime gross $2.2 billion. Okay. 1997. Before 1997, okay, there's 49 billion-dollar movies, technically almost $50 billion movies. Okay. 1997, the second film, Phantom Menace, in 1999. Oh, I'm sorry, Jurassic Park made $1 billion in 1993. Okay. And then you had Lion King make in 1994, it came out. Okay. So 93, 94, 99, and 1997. You had 4 films before the year 2000. Okay. Before the year 2000 that were $1 billion flicks. Okay. Since then, okay, from 2000, let me look and see if we have from 2000. We have a 2006. We have a 2001, 2008, 2003, 2007, 2002. Right? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Those are not even $1 billion. Never mind. 2008, 2010, 2003. Yeah, and 2009. We have another 4 the next decade, right? So from 1993 to 2010, you have a total of 8 films that made $1 billion. Since 2010 to now, you have 40 flicks, 39 movies that have made $1 billion. Okay? Now think about that, okay? For 100 years, or close to 100 years, no movie, obviously, because of population and whatnot, okay? If you adjust for gross for over the time, then yes, there's a lot more movies over $1 billion. But from 2010 to now, 21 years, you have 39 movies that made $1 billion. Okay? And Avengers has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Eight Marvel flicks. You have 8 Marvel flicks. And then you have a Spider-Man flicks and you have other ones, right? So we're on this up trajectory of movies making $1 billion. Remember back in let's go back to 1997, right? Let's go to the 90s here. Okay? Where movies were making like this. Lost World Jurassic Park 1997 made $618 million. And you're like, "Holy Christ, that's a lot of money." Right? That's a lot of money. I don't think movies are going to bomb or are gone forever. But what I think is going to happen is there's going to be an adjustment where movies aren't going to be where they're making $600, $700, $800 million profit anymore. Okay. They're going to be like the old movies that made, okay, where the budget's got to come down. Got to be $50 to $100 million budget. Okay. And then those films, okay, will gross $100 to $200 million. Okay, because they spend less. And then when people go see the theater, like for instance, if Shang-Chi cost $70 million to make or $100 million to make, it would have made $107 million profit, not $7 million profit. You know what I mean? That's where I think movie theaters are going. That's where I think the movie industry is going. They have to adjust, right? You can make these independent films and make sure your budget's underneath a certain amount. Okay, meaning CGI is not going to be your best friend unless that price comes down, which probably will come down because now more people are making movies with the technology of, Mando. Like, what's Mando's each episode for Mando is like $8 million. I'm pretty sure, right? Let's see. Mandalorian reaches close to 15 million, making the cost of the whole season nearly 120 million. Okay, if they could get that price down, which 15 million per episode, that's pretty high. That's pretty high, but the technology is new, right? So if they can get the technology and people using it more and more, then that cost will come down, just like anything else. Okay, so let's say they get it around like 10 million or 8 million, and now they do 10 episodes. You're at 100 million, maybe you're at 80 million. Okay, and now you can make your money back, but at the same time, you make your money back with subscriptions now and not with the box office stuff, right? If they can do it correctly without pushing the agenda, making entertainment stuff, putting it out in theaters again, there are independents. Like a movie like the horror flicks do it for like $50 million. Okay? Practical is better than CGI. It might be cheesier, okay, in some cases, but they can make money again. They don't have to make all the money like they've been making, because it's absurd to think they're going to make $1 billion now, right? Their goal should be spend 100 on advertisement and make $400 to $500 million, and then take $300 million profit, and be realistic again. Exponentially, it's not going to go up. It's impossible. Call of Duty in video games is not going to constantly make $1 billion over and over and over and over, right? There's going to be a time where it's just not going to make it. Okay, there's going to be a drop somewhere. Okay, so I also think that a lot of stuff going to the streaming services is going to be a little different as well, right? I don't feel like the streaming services as is in this format that we have right now, I see it changing because movies just keep failing over and over because of it. So I don't know. It all depends. I don't see movie theaters ever leaving. I think Ben Affleck and Matt Damon have the right idea, but they're not thinking clearly as far as the last night or whatever it was that he was in. If the budget only made 30 million and it cost them $100 million to make, one, you got to look at your cost of the film. Okay, like Free Guy lost money, Black Widow lost money, Shang-Chi barely made money, Eternals lost money. Like, they lost a lot of money. Disney lost a lot of money. But when one movie comes along and it makes $50 million to make it, and then all of a sudden it makes $300 million, that makes up for all the other studios or all the other films that screwed up, right? So that's the way I see it. I'm gonna remove that one from the list. Talked about it, and then next week we'll talk about the Fantastic Four reboot movie promising update, and we'll talk about Hulu's boss casts uncertainly on Marvel's future. So we'll talk about that stuff next week. Isn't Free Guy coming to Disney Plus? Yeah, it was a Fox film, Searchlight, I believe, which was pretty entertaining. I liked it. I thought it was good. Do you go to movies, theaters for more movies besides Marvel and DC? I've been to the theater 3 times this year. I saw 2 Marvel, or 4 times this year. I did see Spider-Man, Shang-Chi, and Eternals, but I also watched Ghostbusters. I used to go to the movies all the time. There's certain movies that I want to see that are non-Marvel films in theaters. See, the thing that to me is like the movies like Mortal Kombat, Godzilla, that type of movies, I was never going to see in theaters regardless. Those to me are, when it comes to HBO, I'll go see it, right? Then there's movies like Snake Eyes that I'll never see. Right? So there's certain things that I would go to theaters. Like, for instance, I want to go see... what was that one? I thought the movie that I would go see in theaters, me and my wife might go watch it, is with Channing Tatum. And he's a war guy, and he has a dog. I forget what the movie's called. Okay? But it looked like an interesting movie. I would go watch that. I would go watch that with my wife. All right? I'd go watch that. I forget what the movie's called, though. There was another movie, Buzz Lightyear. I'll watch that in theaters. Oh, I watched Clifford the Big Red Dog. I saw that in theaters. So yes, I go to theaters because I want to see movies, certain movies in theaters. Right? Personally, I love theaters. I love the experience of theaters. I love the what's it called? I just love the, you could feel the crowd when a movie like a Marvel Avengers and stuff is there. You can feel it, right? Isn't it just called Dog? I'm not too sure. You might be right. Was Clifford any good? Yeah, it was. It's that type of movie. It's that type of movie. Yeah, it's called Dog. That's exactly what it's called. Dog. Yeah, I like Clifford. There's a couple things in Clifford that bugged me, Sean. There's a couple things in Clifford that bugged me, as far as the special effects go, and this is why I hate CGI special effects. A lot of people don't notice this when you watch movies, okay? But if they have extras in the background, which motion pictures do, and let's say there's explosions going on and certain things. Now, obviously, a lot of explosions are done in camera, meaning they film it because it's live. Other explosions are in CGI, so there's like no explosion happening there, right? So they tell the extras, okay, boom, there's an explosion, and they're like, ah, and they do certain things, right? Or there's a character walking down for eye line or not. So they'll hold a big stick up in the air with like a ball or a tennis ball or something, and everyone's allowed to look at it. So when I was watching Clifford the Big Red Dog, Clifford would walk down the street and nobody would look at him. If you saw a dog that was that big, the size of a bus, okay, walking down the street, you would be looking at it. Now, even when some people looked at it, okay, they weren't looking at him because they were just looking at the street, right? Because they would tell him, hey, there's a big red dog walking down the street, and everyone's like, oh, right? So there was lots of moments in stuff like that I was just like, oh boy. Right? That's one of the reasons I don't like CGI type stuff. Now, what's cool about what Mando's doing, what they're doing with the Star Wars series, they could put the object on the screen and they're actually staring at the stuff on the screen, right? So it's there. They can see it. It's physically there. So I like stuff like that. If they could do more of that, where it's CGI'd but also visual, like practical, so it's done in the actual cameras live, it's always done better, right? You can't you can't have people imaginary look at something if you can actually put something there. You'll always get a better thing. Don't you feel like you need to cover it? I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. But American Chavez was supposed to be in No Way Home. I'll stop there in case you haven't seen the article. Oh, I did see the article. I did, Krebsy. Yeah, they had her play a big role as far as having the serum, and she was like hanging on the crane, and she was about to like throw the crane or throw the serum at Spider-Man so he could help William Dafoe's Green Goblin. I don't know how I feel like, how would they bring her in? Because she never met Peter. So how would they, you know what I mean? It's interesting to see how they would have done it. I'm glad they didn't. Right? Because wasn't was Spider-Man always supposed to be before Doctor Strange? Or is Doctor Strange always supposed to be after Spider-Man? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't all these new characters that they bring in. I feel like what they're doing with American Chavez, I guess, is a little better. I don't know if she's getting her own series, but I feel like what they're doing with her and introducing her in this film is better than giving Riri Williams her own series, right? I think originally Strange was before No Way Home. That would make sense then. Why she would be there, right? She would be hanging out with Strange in that realm. Where if she came out in Spider-Man and then all of a sudden you're like, who is this person? Let me see what else I got here. Yeah, here I'll bring the story up so you guys can see it. So there was some artwork. Okay, it says other Spider-Man No Way Home concept artist shared some art and depicts the entirely different film. The art sees Tom Holland, Peter Parker, Zendaya, MJ, Jacob Belton, Ned, and leads the bumper car rank, where it seems something big in the multiverse is about to happen. Surprisingly, Flash Thompson and Betty Brott also make an appearance. Okay, so you see this. Let me see if I can make this picture bigger. I can't really make it that much bigger, but you see her, and she's got a book in her hand. Okay, at the book, which looks like the Darkhold. Okay, and it says, looking closer at the image, the center holding mysterious book, which likely is original design for Doctor Strange's cube, is what looks like to be American Chavez, but instead, Gomez is in the role, seems to be an actress, Isabella Merced, which is a completely different person playing the actual cast, right? So, completely different person playing the actual character. Okay. Back in January 2020, was said to associate with the American Chavez role by insider Charles Murphy. The actor is known for roles of Dora in The Lost City of Gold and Instant Family. Clearly, it's not what ended up working, but it's interesting to see what would have been. Okay, so you can see her face. Okay. Another piece of concept art, okay, shown here, has also the ability to travel through Marvel's multiverse in film Final Battle. Now, you can see this is the picture. That's the Statue of Liberty. You can actually see the Statue of Liberty holding the shield. Okay. And you can see Spider-Man swinging right up here. It's hard for you guys to see. And then you can see the Green Goblin over here. Now, she is holding a vial. Chavez can be seen hanging off a crane hook, holding that what looks like to be the cure for Defoe's Green Goblin. See, she's got the actual, stuff there. Okay. It's hard to imagine the sequence of events. After all, general audiences don't even know who American Chavez is yet. So why was she in the running for a key role in Spidey's adventure? Well, there's a good reason. In the original Phase 4 lineup, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was actually set to debut before Spider-Man No Way Home. That makes sense now, right? Meaning that the audience would have already met Chavez, so the inclusion would have been far more natural. In a recent interview, one of the screenwriters for No Way Home Crisis revealed that at the point, it was a mysterious Marvel character who brought Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield into the MCU to help Tom Holland and Peter Parker. Given the newly revealed concept piece, it's almost certainly going to be American Chavez. At the end of the day, the introduction to other Spider-Men couldn't have been more perfect, as cool as it would have been if we have an additional MCU ties. It's safe to say that the fans are in a better timeline, as Chavez herself audience would get to know her on May 6th when she introduces properly Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. Given that No Way Home was once set and utilized the character, maybe she'll be responsible for more multiverse cameos and crossovers after her debut performance, which is interesting because spoiler talk here. Okay, spoiler talk. If shoot, that's not what I wanted to do. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do either. Go. Which with the rumors, spoiler talk here, okay, with the rumors of what we talked about last week and Multiverse of Madness and the potential characters that are coming into this movie, it would make sense why she's there punching holes in timelines and different things like that, right? It also seems a little strange that the Multiverse of Madness, all of a sudden we have a character that can punch holes in the into the timeline. Now, I do know she's been around for a couple of years, and that's about all I know about American Chavez. But yeah. So we'll see what her part is in the Multiverse of Madness. If Doctor Strange had it originally released day, it would have been before No Way Home. Darkhold, seems that we are predicting the plot of Multiverse of Madness. I honestly would have preferred Chavez scene over the Ned scene. I agree, Krebsy. I didn't like the whole Ned thing. Kind of opened up the can of worms of does he have magic or whatnot. It would have been interesting, and the way I would see it here is that he would show up to the Sanctum, and American Chavez is already there. She sees him there, and they make kind of like eye contact, right? Maybe he's interested in her, even though he's with MJ. There's this thing that happens between them. And maybe she likes him and he doesn't really like her. Maybe she's in friend territory to Spider, to Peter this entire time because he likes, MJ. But if they introduced her in a way where maybe she was like, oh, right, I'll help you type of thing. Cause she's like, cool, you're Spider-Man type of thing. Then that would have been a more feasible thing when she's hanging out with Ned and them. And they're looking, and she's like, oh, and she looks for Peter, and she punches a hole, and then, oh my God. And then all of a sudden, Peter walks through, and she's like, oh, wait, and then she does it again. And then they're like, hey, just stop punching holes in the universe, type of thing. So I personally would have liked her, but in the way of Multiverse was first, then Spider-Man. Now that it's Spider-Man first and this, maybe it'll work out better this way, right? We'll see what happens. I mean, I liked Spider-Man the way it was, but now knowing this, sounds like it could have been really cool. But we'll see. They could have 100% used Chavez in the Younger Avengers and the King of the Conqueror battle. I wonder what would have happened if Wanda got her hands on American Chavez and forced her to open portals to different dimensions to look for her kids. Well, she still potentially could do that, right? She still potentially could do that. The more we talk about No Way Home, the lower the score goes. Yeah. That's still good, though. It's still a good movie. It's still a good movie. All right. That is going to be it for tonight. I do appreciate everyone coming out for the Endgame podcast. We will be live tomorrow evening back here on Nerding with 30 for the Boba Fett podcast, the podcast of Boba Fett, episode 3, where we'll go over and discuss episode 3 of Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett. If you guys are watching and you like that type of stuff, make sure you show up tomorrow night. It's, to me, it's not about the viewership that I get. I know that sounds ridiculous, right? I really do appreciate all of you that are here, that listen to me talk about news and give you and have this back and forth of conversation or whatnot. I do appreciate it very much. So if you guys like this type of content, make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification so you know when we go live. We'll be back tomorrow morning for the daily grind. We'll talk, I think, a little bit more about Lost Ark. There's a video from Legacy Gaming that goes into like super in-depth stuff that I kind of want to just have a chat about it and more. I'm really excited about Lost Ark, and I want to get into the lane, right? I want to merge onto the highway of Lost Ark and start covering it and talking about it to build up stuff in that. So we'll be back tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock in the morning for the daily grind. And I think we might play a little bit of Fortnite tomorrow after that. So after the morning talk, we'll go play some Fortnite. Or, I don't know, we'll do something. I appreciate you all coming out and hanging out with us this evening. We'll be back tomorrow night for Book of Boba Fett podcast, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys have a good one. Appreciate it.